Okay, over here in the corner of the lab, cabinets where we keep the microscopes. Now, when you take a microscope out of the cabinet, you have to use two hands. Use one hand to support the back of the microscope, the other hand to support the base. I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So in holding this particular microscope, I'm right-handed, so I use my left hand to support the base underneath, and I use my right hand to hold the microscope at the back. So, of course, you see the power cord, in this case wrapped around the scope. Very carefully unwrap the cord. And you just plug it into the nearest outlet, which I'm going to do here. Now, as we look more closely at the scope, you should be able to see most of the features, the major features here on video. We'll start at the top, and then we'll work our way down toward the base. So this is a binocular scope, which means it has two eyepiece lenses. These lenses are called oculars that you look through as you view your specimens or your slides. The two oculars are attached to a unit that is attached to the body of the microscope. Underneath the body here, there is a circular piece that will spin, and that circular piece is called a turret. And attached to the turret are several lenses. Each of these lenses is referred to as an ocular lens, as an objective lens. Now, it's a little hard to see the individual lenses in this view. So I probably will finish talking about the scope in general, and then I will reset the camera so that you can get a closer view of the objective lenses. But just so you know, in general, these microscopes have 4 different objective lenses, and they go from rather short to rather long. Typically, the shortest objective is called the scanning lens, and the magnifying power of that lens by itself is 4x. The other lenses are low power, high power, and then what's called oil immersion. And each of those objective lenses magnify to a different extent by themselves. Underneath the objective lenses is the place where we will put our microscope slides. This is called the stage. This is a special stage. It has a little clipper here that allows you to insert the slide and lock the slide into place. And on this side, hard to see, I think, but on this side, you might be able to see that there are 2 knobs, one above the other. The top knob moves the slide from the back of the scope toward the front of the scope. The lower knob moves the slide or the stage from left to right. Underneath the stage is a condenser, which can be moved up and down. Connected to the condenser is an iris diaphragm, which can be used to allow more light through or cut down the amount of light that reaches the slide. Underneath the condenser is the light source, a light bulb. On either side of the base, there are two focusing knobs. There is a larger focusing knob called the coarse adjustment knob, and then this smaller diameter knob, which is used for fine adjustment. There's also an on-off switch here. See, the light goes on, and it turns out that on the other side, opposite the on-off switch, is something that will control the brightness of the bulb. So I'm going to switch around here and see if I can get a closer look at those objectives. Okay, we're back. I adjusted the angle a bit here for you to see things more clearly. So now you can see more clearly the turret to which the objective lenses are attached. You can see each of the four objective lenses. I'm going to put the smallest one to the front here. This one right here, the shortest one, is called the scanning lens, and it magnifies 4 times on its own. The next slightly longer objective, in this case, has a yellow ring on it, if you can see the yellow or not. This objective is the low power lens and magnifies 10 times on its own. The next slightly longer objective has a blue ring on it and is able to magnify 40 times on its own. And then finally, we have the largest objective, which in this case has a white ring on it with a number 100, because by itself it magnifies 100 times. Of course, we never use the objective lenses by themselves. We use them in combination with the ocular lenses. They're located at the top of the scope, up here. Now, the total magnification achieved when you use the ocular lens with the objective, with one of the objective lenses, is equal to multiplying the magnifying power of the ocular lens times the magnifying power of the objective lens that you're using. There's only one type of ocular lens, so the ocular lens always magnifies 10 times by itself. But if I'm using the 100x objective, this one called the oil immersion lens, the total magnification will be equal to the product of the magnification of the ocular lens, in this case 10x, and the magnifying ability of the objective lens. In this case, it's the oil immersion lens that magnifies 100x. If you multiply 100 times 10, that product is 1000x. So the total magnification possible, looking through the 10x ocular lens and the 100x objective lens, is 1000x. Suppose I want to use the high and dry objective, which is a 40x objective. I multiply the 40 times the 10 for a total magnification of 400x. If I use the low power lens, which is a 10x lens, 10 times 10 gives me a total magnification of 100x. And finally, if I use the scanning lens, which is 4x, 4 times 10 is 40 for a total magnification of 40x. This circular object, which is the condenser, which can be moved up and down, closer to the stage and farther away from the stage using this knob here. Attached to the condenser is this little lever, which will open and close the iris diaphragm, which you really can't see, but it's up in the condenser. Opening the diaphragm allows more light to come in. Closing the diaphragm down restricts light. You also can control the amount of light from the light source. This side you can see, here's the little control knob. Notice how the light becomes very dim, actually goes out, and then comes back again, brighter and brighter as I adjust the brightness of the lamp. So those are the main parts of the microscope, and you can also see them a little more clearly here. The coarse adjustment, notice how that moves the stage very, very quickly up and down. And then the smaller knob, the fine adjustment, which moves the stage up and down very, very small increments. We call that the fine adjustment knob.